Welcome back to the AI Summit here in London. I'm Ben Wodecki, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Rashmi Gupta from IBM. Rashmi, how's it going?
It's good, a great summit.
Awesome, thank you so much for having me. It's warm, but we're going to talk about some real fun things because earlier on you gave a speech entitled AI Gone Wrong. Can you give us a little bit of an overview about what you spoke about?
So it has been a thrilling year for AI, right? We went from ChatGPT in 1 week, 1 billion users to 100 million users, right? Very exciting times. But our take on AI is not only just AI user, we want you to be informed user, a value user. And that's what the presentation was about. Let's be aware of what the challenges of AI are, and do we have the right governance, right process in the place to tackle them.
So it's not just ChatGPT though, it's WatsonX, which IBM announced very recently. I'd say that's been a long time coming because Watson has been around for well over a decade now. It's very well known and it's been around and it's done a lot of work in terms of integrations. Talk us through the journey of where you see Watson is today.
Sure, so Watson has been here for a decade, more than a decade as you pointed out, right? We started our journey with traditional AI, moved on to foundational models, right, which is the new concept or called generative AI, where the models learn, relearn, and they are prompted to produce the outcomes what you are looking for your business. So that's what Watson is. Watson is bringing context in terms of business, right? So they are very driven, purpose-built models for your business, and they bring it with a proper governance. So that's the difference between what we have been talking about, the ChatGPT, which is a generic, versus Watson, which brings a value for your business.
And you've worked with a lot of clients with Watson in terms of, I've seen a lot of stuff in construction, you mentioned Johnson & Johnson earlier today. What kind of integrations are you most proud of when you've seen this system in action?
So let's start with the 3 layers of Watson, right? So we have data, which is the integral and the foundation part of the Watson, and then we have the Watson AI. So we bring together pieces so that we can govern them at the Watson governance, right? So data is the key element. We want to make sure the data is not only prepared, it is prepared anywhere, right? It can be on-prem, on cloud, your cloud, public cloud. So that's what the whole intensive purposes are. We talk about the 3 V's of the data, right? The volume. We bring any type of volume, right? We are talking about petabytes of the data. And not only just your data, we also have gathered our own data, right? Which you can find useful for training the models. And then the third one is the veracity of the data, right? So structured data, unstructured data, and the velocity of the data. It can come at any time, in real time. We can do it like a one-time loads, migrations. So it's a journey, right? So data is an integral part of that whole business model. So we do the integration of your data, bring in the enterprise data at your convenience, at your defined gravity of the data, right? So if you want it on-prem, which is something we have been doing for a while, but still if you have a preference for on-prem because of the security and the privacy concerns, that's a great piece. As we talk about our clients, right, we have more than 20,000 clients who are interested right now in the AI. And as we do the use case journey for them, I think one theme had been very, very common, which is the data security. People are worried about their data. They're worried about their prompts, how these models will be running. They are pre-built models, but still they have to be trained with your data to make them context-worthy for your business. So that's one trend which we have been seeing, the data security is utmost concern. And the recent EU law, and I'm very excited about that, it just became like the draft has been finalized. So we will see that happening, right? Okay. So US market will see the same thing, right? So we are very excited because we thought through this process early on. We have the governance. We had been having this governance, now we are putting into context of generative AI.
And you guys have been working on this for a long time, so it's keen that it's interesting to see how it's evolved. One thing I want to talk to you about, Rashmi, is earlier on this year you wrote that ChatGPT was in a prototype phase. It was about February kind of time you wrote that. This is kind of pre-subscription announcement. How does it differ from WatsonX in terms of longevity, in terms of the underlying experience that IBM brings to the table? Talk us through how you see the two compared.
So one thing which is very different, or maybe we want to bring it to context, is integrating with the enterprise workflows, right? So yeah, you can get an answer, but it will be a generic answer. It's not something pertaining. An example will be, how do I find the skilled labor for my HR folks, right? So if you have seen a Watson demo, which I would say like go ahead and look at the IBM suite, it brings a context to it, right? So it understands what requisition you're talking about. If you talk about, and then it asks you, do you want me to copy? It generates the new output and does the whole thing with the productivity in mind, right? So 30% productivity gains right away. So that is called integration with the workflow, right? You know exactly what requisition you're talking about, you know exactly where you found it, and actually putting it on the LinkedIn for that requisition. Mm-hmm. So we are putting the entire workflow, end-to-end workflow for your business outcomes. So that's the difference between when we talk about the enterprise AI. And one important thing to talk about when we talk about the enterprise AI is getting that whole governance perspective. And I can't stress enough about the governance, right? So we have developed something called Generative AI Center of Excellence, which brings the entire framework, AI framework, which is it is template based, there are playbooks, so I would encourage you to look into it, right? And that's where we differentiate ourselves from our competitors.
So I'm keen to work out, because obviously you announced WatsonX at Think earlier this year. Where is it going to, how do you see it evolving over the next 6 to 12 months? Because this space is moving really fast and things change overnight. What's the next step for you guys?
So keep an eye on other announcements where we roll out the other features, especially on the Watson governance side. We are also rolling out, we are going GA on the Watson data. We are having other feature enablement on the Watson AI side. So exciting stuff happening as we integrate new models. Other thing which I would talk about is the strategy piece, right? People usually talk about the tactical AI. Our intention is the strategic, right? So AI strategy. We have something called a garage methodology where we do the consulting based on your AI strategy. We talk not about just any models, we talk about the right sizing of the models, we talk about the right architecture, we talk about which model will be a fit for purpose for your business. So I think that is very critical when you think it from the enterprise perspective.
And finally, Rashmi, what kind of projects are you excited personally to be working on this year for IBM? Any exciting things coming up?
Apart from Watson?
Apart from Watson, just generally, what are you most excited to be working on?
So I'm on the consulting side of the business. I'm a partner with the DTT. So anything about the data really excites me. So as I put the lens of the AI onto the data, I'm very excited about the new use cases and new models which we'll bring into the client to solve their everyday problems, right? And I work with state and local government, and I see a real push for AI, and which really excites me because we are able to help and service the citizens, right? So, which is the basic purpose. So AI for good is another thing which I'll be very excited about, right? So AI for good, where we do for sustainability, right? Where we make the greener planet, where we do social impact for AI. That is another something which I want to pursue from my own personal liking.
You and me both. I'm excited to see how it evolves, and hey, it might change altogether in the next 6 to 12 months, so let's keep watch. It's been an absolute pleasure, Rashmi. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.